This is Pete Moore on Halo Talks NYC on location, Scottsdale, Arizona, with my friend of at least 15 years, maybe more, Zach Lucas, VP of Sales, Promotion Vault. Zach, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Super excited to be here.
So you and I go back in the industry probably before the DSL line and the T1 line. So talk about your background of growing up in the sector, and we'll talk about what Promotion Vault's doing now to help people drive profitability into their clubs.
Absolutely. So I started in the industry. I went to school to be a history teacher up in Oregon. Yeah, perfect. It was perfect. I got a job at 24 Fitness working the front desk in Salem, Oregon. I was terrible at that job, by the way. Absolutely terrible. I remember Paul White almost fired me every day because I could not multitask at all. He's like, if you can't answer the phone and check people in at the same time. But one of the guys taught me about Apex sales. He taught me about supplements, taught me how to make a little extra money on my check. And I became one of the number one supplement sailors at the front desk. From there, I went to personal training, fitness manager. I caught the fitness bug 22 years ago. And I decided after staying with 24 Fitness for about 7 years that I liked the private sector a little better. Came down to Arizona, worked with a company called Pure Fitness.
Sure.
We built a lot of clubs here in Arizona. I think 11 or 12 clubs here in Arizona. And
that got acquired by
LA
Fitness
back
in the day.
Yeah. And when that happened, we basically found ourselves without a job, and we acquired and maybe a little money in our pocket, but I ended up going into the studio world and building some studios here with a partner. He had a great model, and I took my studio knowledge out to the world and ended up building about 100 studios as a consultant. I love the group training model. I love the fitness aspect of it. Always been on the fitness side. And then about maybe a year ago, 3 years ago, Brian Mitchell and I met, and he was telling me about Promotion Vault. And much like a lot of our customers today, I stared at him and I did not understand what he was talking about.
That's usually what happens at the first time interaction.
Yeah, marketing and advertising to me was $1 down. I mean, we had gone all the way down to $1 and then no enrollments. And, when I started in fitness, we were charging, hundreds of dollars to enroll. And I remember 24 Fitness was no free personal training. If you gave free personal training sessions, you were fired. It was terminated. Now we give them buy one, get one, And so Brian was trying to teach me the incentive world as a gym owner. And I was staring at him like, it doesn't make any sense. Why would I not give free training or free dues? Because it doesn't cost me anything. And so I was one of his customers that he talked to about, man, you just don't understand. You don't have a free empty hole of pockets, of money just to keep giving dues and dues and dues. So started with him as his VP of sales about a year ago to really try to teach the market what I learned about incentives. And here I am 22 years later. I absolutely love this industry. I love teaching it and consulting with the teams and consulting with the gyms out there and helping them drive revenue through incentives.
So how important to you in your current position is it that you worked at the front desk, that you sold supplements, that you understand the communication at the point of sale, that you're selling somebody hope, you're selling them a better lifestyle, you're selling them health, and that that's not something that should be discounted, because it's probably the most important thing that someone's going to do during a week or during a month or during a year. So having the psychology of the gym owner or the studio owner or the sales desk person or the person that's educating someone on it, how is that kind of framed your ability? You're VP of sales, but that's probably you're really VP of like evangelizing and helping someone understand the value of what's being provided.
Yeah, what we find is that when Brian built Promotion Vault, and obviously you go back with Brian to the very beginning. He had an extremely in-depth knowledge of the fitness industry. I think one of the differences between us is I had lived every position and I had run every position, from a manager, general manager, fitness manager, district manager, vice president of fitness. I was responsible for each one of those jobs. So now that we work with our consumer, our clients, the gyms, it's invaluable that not only myself, one of our other sales guys, actually we hire operators to help them understand and help us understand what business model are they in. Are they a mid-tier player? Are they upper? Are they a high volume, low price model? So that we understand exactly their client, who they're after. And by doing each one of those roles, it's priceless for me to be able to consult with them and talk to them about, here's where that gift card is going to be the most the best bang for your buck. It's incredible.
I think one of the interesting parts about working with an outsourced vendor such as Promotion Vault or whoever else you're using as a club owner or a studio operator, and whether it's your billing software, whether it's your sales and marketing, whether it's your CMS, is that to understand that vendor or that partner is working with a lot of other groups. So you're basically like getting this best in class software delivery platform, but you're also like they're educating you on what's working in the industry, and you got to trust them because they're one level above your four walls of the club or your four walls of the studio. It's hard for you to be able to have that kind of knowledge without actually being in it.
Yeah.
So talk about like how you guys look at what promotions are working across the North America and being able to say, okay, look, in certain markets, here's what we're seeing, is helping people drive sales and retention.
I think the one of the things that I've learned the most about this role is that since we're integrated not only with the largest POS providers, EBC and MindBody and Jonas, and we're working with all the largest brands and the independents, we're as a group, as a team, listening and learning from customers every single day. So not only are we giving what we believe is our wonderful, great advice for Brian and I, but we're also learning and we're putting that back into what we call best practices and taking it back out to the market. Whether it's us launching this year, we launched the studio model, saying, hey, look, these aren't high volume, low cost models. These are expensive models, and they still need to acquire a customer, and their cost to acquire is a little bit higher. So how do we take best practices? So we get to work within every single different brand to see what's working, and then take best practices back out to the market or to our customer and say, hey, this is what we recommend. This is what we see. It works for clubs just like yours or similar markets or models like yours. And then they get to also kind of push back and say, well, these are what our thoughts are on that. So with working with all these customers, we see this nice blend of us knowing all this information and then taking it and applying it to their own, marketing and advertising and sales. But really, it's invaluable to get to work with thousands of locations because we get to see, all the best practices across the brands.
Yeah, as a lot of people say, well, the club market and the studio market is oversaturated. And then I looked at a stat the other day that there's like 200,000 fitness locations in the U.S., but there's about 700,000 places where you can buy a beer.
Yeah,
so like maybe that should be flipped on its head, and we got 700,000 fitness studios because you're basically trying to get somebody's time and where they're going to spend their dollars, whether that's on entertainment, which we're providing in the fitness industry. But as you look at clubs or studios that come in, and what we see is that people build a beautiful location and think that the door is going to swing open because someone's going to say, hey, look, that place is, beautifully architected. And I think a lot of the studio operators don't fully appreciate that this is a sales and marketing business, and you got to keep that door turning because you're inevitably going to lose people, not because necessarily something you do or don't do, but it's human nature to work out and to hop around and try new things. So as you think about educating people on what dollars they need to spend on marketing, what a customer costs to walk through the door, what and being in it from 24 hours, which is a pretty hardcore sales culture. How do you kind of how do you explain that to the average studio operator? It's, to say like, hey, look, in pre-sale, you got to spend $50,000. They're like, whoa, I didn't budget that. What are you talking about? Why do I need to do that?
It's interesting because when we first started, 22, 23 years ago, the studio model hadn't developed yet. So when I started up in Portland, Oregon, we were against Bally's. It was 24-hour Bally's head to head. We didn't have to worry about all these other companies. So. What we did do a lot better back then was we served. And we served our membership base with services, with personal training appointments, with nutrition, with real nutritional consulting. We've gotten a lot of studios and gyms and companies have gotten away with, they just deliver a workout. And I do think that a period of time over the last couple of years, it's worked. But I see a huge, there's huge room in the market for good serving customer companies that will come in and actually take care of that customer. Because at the end of the day, people will pay for results. What they usually end up quitting is they quit that they don't get results or they don't use the facility. But people that are losing weight or getting towards their goal, whatever that is they continue to use the locations. And I think the average, they say, is about 14 to 18% of the market actually joins a health club. So if you think about only 20% of people within 1 square mile join your health club or join a health club, there's a lot of room for new players on the market. It just is, what's your plan going to be? How are you going to tell me that you're going to be the best? Which marketing, advertising, when you think about the best gyms in the world, are they the best at delivering results? Are they the best product or the best workout, best experience, or are they the best marketing and advertisers? And what we are seeing, I think, in the last 5 years, is the best people that advertise and market and sell are where most of the members are ending up, because they're reaching them. They're telling them the message.
Right.
So the studios have a hard time with how not spending the money, and not getting that message out and not reaching me at home to tell me you should try my studio and this is why.
Right.
Companies that are doing it, they're cranking.
The ironic part is that, Planet Fitness spends the most amount of money on sales and marketing, and they have got 14 million members.
Yeah.
So, you did a math on that. They might have like a 28% market share of health club members, yet provide the lowest frills, no service, more likely not to get results because there's nobody there.
Yeah.
And it's, kind of a glorified laundromat. However, it is getting people to get off the couch and do something. So, as people are starting to use the promotion vault from a gift card standpoint, from rewarding members for referrals, for taking 10 personal training sessions, how has it been over the last year or so to educate the club operator and the studio operator, say, look, there's a part of your business where we got to get people in the door. You got to then deliver the results that you promised. And then you got to reward people, just like every other industry. I check into a hotel, I got my reward points. I go on a plane, I got my reward points. I go on JetBlue, and they say, I appreciate you being a Mosaic member when I check in, because they know that I like that, and I want that. So, how do you think about, where are we in the spectrum of you being an educator to you being a provider and like a value added addition to like what they're already doing?
Yeah, it's interesting, because I think the planets prove the point that marketing and advertising, no matter what falls behind it, it works.
Right,
I mean, when I watched the ball drop from here in Arizona,
Sure.
I know you live in New York, so you're real close to it. We watch it from here. The whole day, you would think is Planet Fitness, because everywhere are those purple things that everybody's flicking around, right? So you would think in the world of America that Planet Fitness is delivering the best results across the world in fitness, but really they're the best marketing and advertisers in the game. So I see a lot of the companies needing to step up, and if you are going to compete, you got to find that middle ground between spending the right amount of dollars in your marketing and advertising and telling your story, and then having the product, almost outserve that company. Or if you're going to try to be the similar brand that doesn't have personal training, that doesn't have Group X classes, you're going to be out-dollared. There's just no doubt about it.
Right.
So you have to bring your unique style, your unique product, and then you have to deliver on it. You have to deliver on that experience. It's really, we're talking, Brian and I, the CEO, were talking a lot about this the other day, that customer service is dead. It's really member experience. It's about the experience of that client, or even we focus here on not using the words customer service or client service, but client success and client experience. Because nothing's ever going to be perfect, but can we deliver the best experience for our member or for our client, even a promotion?
So some of the metrics that we look at, and maybe you could shed some light on this from your end. But if you're a middle market big box gym, you got to spend at least $10,000 a month on marketing, and there's really no way around that. And if you're a studio, you should really be spending $3,000 to $5,000 a month, and you got to spend it every month, and you got to understand that every month starts a new sales period, and you got to ingrain in people that we're never done because people are going to come and go, and we got to keep this machine and engine going. And when we see some of these companies come in and ask us to evaluate their business, typically the biggest red flag is when I see the marketing costs go down, and then they figure out, well, we didn't think that marketing was working. So how do you educate, or what's your pitch to people when they say, whoa, $20 gift card, like that costs $22? And it's like, well, you're getting a member that's probably got a $300 or $400 lifetime value to start. Plus, if they become a member and they're an avid, raving fan of yours, they're probably going to tell 5 to 10 people, how they lost weight or how they, gain muscle or how better they feel. So, like, how do you educate people on like the return on this? And it's not just like, here's an Excel spreadsheet and here's what's going to happen, but like the philosophy that like, this is what you got to do.
It's really hard in the fitness business to move our clients a lot from free, that it doesn't cost me anything to give a free month the cost of acquire. When you're a $30 a month club, it certainly costs you that $30 next month, to, hey, we think you should give a $30 gift card, and use the sales narrative that, hey, we've taken care of your enrollment or your first month's dues with a gift card because of our digital hoop and only 30% activation. It's only going to cost you $10. So what we do is we teach them that with gift cards, you should be about $600 to $1,000 a month of your marketing and advertising spend. Partner with these big brands, and we teach them. January is one of the busiest. In my experience, one of the examples of fitness business where a lot of these people the fitness business turns off a lot of their marketing and advertising because they get natural guest traffic. Well, in other verticals, they turn it on. They're like, wait a minute, I'm going to see 1,000 more people.
Yeah, Black Friday, right?
Black Friday, I'm cranking down the specials. I'm going to spin that member life cycle. I'm going to put gift cards here, gift cards there. They're in the club. I'm going to get them to buy retail. I'm going to get them to member, to do PT orientations. It's an industry that sometimes thinks, I have friends that are endurance runners, and they would tell me they would never buy a certain shoe from a certain company to endurance run. But yet that shoe company hits me every day with a different advertising that tells me why they're the best shoe company in the world. And they don't turn it off just because they have a good month or a better month coming. They crank down on it when they're doing better. So it's just a philosophy of marketing and advertising, them understanding that they need to budget out. Some of it goes towards their Facebook, some of it goes towards external pieces. But for gift cards, we've seen studies that people like the value add and the incentive 3 to 1 over a discount. I mean, think about a discount. I'm a member walking in your door. I'm not paying you. I don't have any value for your service, and you're going to tell me I don't have to pay something that I already wasn't paying. Versus walking into your store and saying, hey, Zach, here's a Home Depot card. Well, I just spent $50 at Home Depot fixing my sprinkler system that my puppy ate. My kids talked me into getting a puppy, and so he ate my whole sprinkler system. I would have loved a Home Depot gift card as I'm sitting there yesterday. And so it's just the difference between giving discounts versus giving me something I get to walk away with. And studies show that people like those incentives. They like that gift a lot more than paying for something or not paying for something that they weren't paying for to begin with.
Yeah, sure. And also like dilutes the value of that for future, payments to the club or whatever it is. You think you're going to get it. But one of the guys I used to work for said, if you give up price, you will never get it back.
Agreed.
So don't give up price. So the second thing that's really intriguing to me about the gift card business, when I was running my software company back in 2000 and 2003, we did a deal with Disney. It took us like 6 months, and it was an awesome promotion. And it was being able to say that we had Gold's Gym and like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, yeah.
And I worked that hard. And I flew to California several times, and we had to get all sorts of specs with, you're allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do this. The interesting part about the gift card business is basically me, if I had Pete's Studio in New York City, through Promotion Vault, I could do a discount. I could do a gift card with, Amazon, or I could do a discount with Home Depot. And the perception is now on the member side, like, holy shit, Pete's Studio's got a deal, like they're partnered up with this big brand. Like, how the hell did they do that?
Right.
But the way the gift card business works, you're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
So talk about a little bit of the psychology around brand association.
Yeah, we teach that all the time because, even when I owned my own studio, I would tell you my studio is the greatest studio in the world. And you'd be like, yeah, great, I never heard of it. I mean, really haven't. I'm sure it is, but I never heard of it. So being able to partner with these brands that everybody knows, and having something for everybody, where it's Target or Starbucks or Best Buy, Amazon. You literally, by getting to partner with them, the consumer sees that, and the consumer they know exactly what that value is. If you throw out a $25 gift card right now to Amazon, Home Depot, Best Buy, I know what that means. That's for me. That's an accessory for my cell phone. It relates very easily. I've seen a discount this month from a personal training company that said you get 50% off. Well, what does that mean? I don't even know what the original cost was, and would that really get me in? So equating these big large brands to your brand really gives you national exposure. And something I want to touch base on something you asked me just a minute ago, because you were right on the head of something very, very important that gym owners really need to take into account. If you call AT&T or some large mobile providers right now, or if you call your cable company, ask them for a free month. See what they say. They'll never give you a free month, because they know that the value, as soon as they give you that service for free, any customer service issue you have, you're going to ask for that month for free. Any time they throw out promotions, they use other things. HBO's free, like for cable. AT&T will use accessories or phones. They won't use their own monthly service. So gyms, we try to teach them that, get away from using that, because you're literally, from the moment you're telling them that our monthly fee is this, but don't worry about paying it this month. Well, that sets a precedent down the future that you're basically saying my gym doesn't really cost this, and the value isn't that every single month. Mm-hmm. So use other things. Use the gift cards, and that's what we tell them to move away from. But yeah, partnering with Amazon and large brand, not even just Amazon, any large national brand will get somebody. The goal of the gift card is to get them to the action that you want them to do, and give you the opportunity to sell whatever it is that you're trying to win in fitness.
Good. Yeah, this is great. So just give us a snapshot of how many clubs you guys are and studios you're currently servicing, what the future looks like over the next 6 to 12 months of how the gift card system works and what you see.
Yeah. Right now we're probably over about 2,200 locations. We work with all major brands in the fitness business, most of the independents. Studio model, we're probably over 1,000 locations, probably creeping up on 1,500. As now we're seeing the larger brands jump in. It's interesting because we Brian and I absolutely love, and I know as well as yourself, we come from the fitness side, so we love it. But the gift card world for us is also moving into other verticals. I mean, you think about, being able to do test drives in cars and apartment complexes and real estate. And any time somebody wants to do an action, we can gift card it if we can see it in your data, and we can link into that API. So where I see us heading in the next year is probably up to 3,000 or 4,000 locations nationwide. And Canada, because we're in Canada now. Maybe exploring some of the other countries that gift cards are readily used in. Not every country they are. And then moving into other verticals. We get those calls every single day from other verticals saying, how do we work with you guys? How do we turn on Promotion Vault? So
great. Well, Zach, we've known each other for over 15 years now, so continued success as the VP of Sales or VP of Education, or the evangelist of helping clubs and studios continue to prosper. So thanks for being on the show. Great to see you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.